Miami Dolphins versus Cleveland Browns, two struggling teams desperate to stop the bleeding, will collide on Sunday in Cleveland as the Miami Dolphins visit the Browns in a matchup of 1 to 5 squads searching for stability. Both franchises sit at the bottom of their divisions, with Miami trailing AFC East co-leaders New England and Buffalo by 3 games, while Cleveland lags behind Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in the AFC North. Despite similar records, the stakes remain high. Not for playoff seeding, but for pride, confidence, and perhaps the trajectory of their respective seasons. The Dolphins have dropped 3 straight by 1-possession margins, while the Browns are mired in offensive inconsistency, scoring just 82 points all season. This contest represents a reset opportunity for both sides, one that could reveal which team still has the fight to climb back toward respectability. Quarterback play will be the defining element in this clash. Miami's Tua Tagovailoa remains the more proven passer, having thrown for 1,213 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions while completing 69.8% of his throws. Though his QBR sits at 50.7, Tagovailoa has flashed rhythm and command when given protection, particularly in short-yardage timing routes with Jalen Waddle. In contrast, Cleveland's rookie Dillon Gabriel continues to endure growing pains, posting 430 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, but struggling with efficiency at just 57.3% completion and a 35.6 QBR. Gabriel's deep ball accuracy has been erratic, and he's been sacked 9 times over the last 3 outings. For Cleveland to generate offense, it must rely on play action and controlled tempo to protect its young quarterback from Miami's pressure front led by Bradley Chubb, who has 4 sacks on the season. Offensively, both teams feature capable skill players but have yet to find sustained explosiveness. For Miami, Devon Achane's 390 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns offer flashes of speed and elusiveness, while Waddle leads all receivers with 390 yards and 3 scores on 29 catches. Yet Miami's offensive line injuries, with Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg sidelined, have disrupted rhythm and limited the run game's balance. Cleveland counters with running back Quinshon Judkins, who's nearly mirrored Achane's production with 383 yards and 2 touchdowns on 84 carries. Tight end Harold Fannin Jr. leads Cleveland with 254 yards and a touchdown on 28 catches, often exploiting soft zones. Still, the Browns' lack of big plays, only 4 touchdowns since Week 3, remains a major weakness. Both defenses have battled inconsistency, but contain standout performers. Miami linebacker Jerome Brooks leads the team with 66 tackles, serving as the stabilizer in the middle, while Chubb's edge rush has kept opponents wary. Cleveland counters with its perennial all-pro pass rusher, Myles Garrett, who continues to be the team's defensive heartbeat with 4 sacks and constant disruption. Linebacker Connor Schwessinger adds 52 tackles, but the Browns' secondary has been shaky, surrendering big plays in key moments. The matchup could hinge on which defense bends less, Cleveland's pass rush against Tagovailoa's timing, or Miami's linebacking core limiting Judkins and the Browns' short passing game. Recent form paints a tale of 2 frustrated teams. The Dolphins have lost heartbreakers to the Chargers, 29-27, and Panthers, 27-24, after a promising Week 4 win over the Jets. Tagovailoa has accounted for 5 touchdowns and 4 picks over that span. Cleveland, meanwhile, has dropped 3 straight, most recently a 23-9 defeat to Pittsburgh, in which the offense mustered only 1 red zone trip. Over their last 5 games, the Browns have been outscored 146-82, ranking near the bottom of the league in yards per play and third down conversions. Both squads have dealt with extensive injuries. Miami will again be without safety Elijah Campbell and kicker Jason Sanders, while Cleveland lists multiple defenders as questionable, including Mike Hall Jr., Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, and Mason Graham. Those absences could tilt defensive consistency and special teams execution in subtle but critical ways. X factors are Miami's Akane establishing the run to open play action for Tagovailoa, and Cleveland's Gabriel and Garrett controlling tempo with composure and pressure. Analytics slightly favor Miami at 56%, thanks to quarterback experience and offensive efficiency. Prediction: Miami 27, Cleveland 20. The Dolphins' passing rhythm and speed on the perimeter should outpace the Browns' limited aerial attack, giving Miami its second win of the season. Cleveland's defense will keep it competitive early, but expect Tagovailoa and Waddle to connect late to seal it. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Miami Dolphins winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Philadelphia Eagles versus Minnesota Vikings. The Philadelphia Eagles and Minnesota Vikings collide in Minneapolis in a pivotal Week 7 matchup between two NFC contenders aiming to solidify their midseason footing. Philadelphia enters at 4-2, holding a narrow lead atop the NFC East, while Minnesota, at 3-2, sits in a logjam within the competitive NFC North. Both teams are seeking consistency, Philadelphia trying to rebound from a humbling loss to the Giants, and Minnesota looking to build on momentum after edging Cleveland. With the Vikings slightly favored at home, 51.2% win probability, this contest promises to reveal much about each team's postseason trajectory. Philadelphia's offense, led by Jalen Hurts, has shown flashes of explosiveness, but also moments of uneven execution. Hurts has tallied 1,172 passing yards with 8 touchdowns against a single interception, boasting a 61.0 QBR that ranks 14th among starters. He has been particularly efficient against NFC opponents, completing over 70% of his passes. Minnesota counters with Carson Wentz, whose return to form has been steady if unspectacular. Wentz has thrown for 759 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 picks with a 40.5 QBR. His command at home, 73.5% completions and no turnovers, suggests he's most comfortable in front of the Minneapolis crowd. The quarterback duel represents a clash of styles: Hurts' dynamic mobility and dual threat capability versus Wentz's veteran steadiness and deep ball accuracy. On the ground, the battle between Saquon Barkley and Jay Mason could determine the tempo. Barkley's 325 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns have provided balance to Philadelphia's attack, particularly in red zone situations where Hurts' RPO designs flourish. Mason, with 323 yards and 3 scores of his own, anchors Minnesota's power run game behind a line that has been banged up but effective when healthy. The Vikings' offensive success often hinges on whether Mason can keep defenses honest and open space for star receiver Justin Jefferson, who leads the team with 449 receiving yards and a touchdown. Jefferson's route precision and yards after catch ability present a serious test for an Eagles secondary still searching for consistency. On the other side, Devonta Smith continues to be Hurts' top aerial weapon with 321 yards on 29 catches, though Philadelphia could use more explosive plays from its receiving core. Both teams arrive with lingering injury concerns that could affect the game flow. Philadelphia's interior line is unsettled with Landon Dickerson, ankle, and Jalen Carter, heel, both questionable. Tight end Grant Calcaterra remains sidelined, and defensive lineman Ogbo Okoronkwo is on injured reserve, weakening the pass rush depth. Minnesota's defense faces its own durability test, as linebackers Blake Cashman and Tyler Batty are questionable, while veteran Andrew Van Ginkel, neck, is out until late October. Tackle Brian O'Neill's uncertain status, MCL, looms large, as his absence could expose Wentz to Philadelphia's edge pressure led by Zach Bone, who has 2 sacks and 48 tackles already. Recent form paints an intriguing contrast. Philadelphia has dropped 2 straight, including a 34-17 defeat to the Giants, as turnovers and inconsistent third down efficiency derailed promising drives. Earlier wins against Tampa Bay and Kansas City showed their ceiling when the offense clicks and the defense generates takeaways. Minnesota, meanwhile, has split its last 4 games, alternating wins and losses, but its offense finally looked balanced in the victory over Cleveland. The Vikings have been excellent at US Bank Stadium, where they've averaged over 24 points per game and allowed just 19. In the standings, Philadelphia maintains a slim divisional edge over Washington, 3-3, but needs this win to avoid falling into a crowded NFC playoff picture. Minnesota, tied with Chicago at 3-2 and just behind Green Bay and Detroit, also faces a critical swing game. A victory could catapult them into the top tier of the NFC North and strengthen their wild card credentials. X factors are red zone defense and execution under pressure. Hurts' poise and Barkley's short yardage work for Philadelphia, Jefferson and Minnesota's line health for the Vikings, with special teams affecting field position. Ultimately, this matchup feels like a referendum on which team can impose its preferred style. If Philadelphia cleans up its protection and rediscover its offensive rhythm, their balanced attack could travel well. But with the Vikings' rested defense and home field advantage, Minnesota's steadier form might carry the day. Expect a close, efficiency-driven game. Prediction: Vikings 24, Eagles 21. A narrow Minnesota win that keeps the NFC North race tight and hands Philadelphia its 3rd loss in 4 weeks. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Minnesota Vikings winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Indianapolis Colts versus Los Angeles Chargers. The Indianapolis Colts and Los Angeles Chargers meet in a pivotal AFC showdown at SoFi Stadium on Sunday, with both teams eyeing early season positioning in the playoff race. The Colts, sitting atop the AFC South at 5-1, return to the site of their only loss this season, eager for redemption against a Chargers team, 4-2, that's building momentum in the AFC West. With both clubs boasting strong quarterback play and improving defenses, this matchup has all the ingredients of a tightly contested battle between contenders on the rise. Daniel Jones leads the Colts offense with 1,502 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, showcasing an efficient 71.7% completion rate and a QBR of 79.9, his best mark since joining Indianapolis. Opposite him, Justin Herbert continues to be the engine of the Chargers' attack, throwing for 1,493 yards and 10 touchdowns while completing 67.6% of his passes. The duel between Jones's poise and Herbert's big play arm gives this matchup intrigue, particularly with both quarterbacks ranking in the top 10 league-wide in passing yards. In the backfield, Indianapolis boasts one of the NFL's most productive runners in Jonathan Taylor, who's amassed 603 yards and 7 touchdowns on 115 carries, averaging over 5.2 yards per attempt. Taylor's ability to control tempo could be vital against a Chargers defense that has shown vulnerability against power-rushing attacks. Los Angeles, meanwhile, continues to shuffle its ground game after losing Owen Hampton, 314 yards, 2 touchdowns, to injured reserve. Without a consistent rushing presence, Herbert has relied more heavily on his receivers, especially Quentin Johnston, who leads the team with 377 yards and 4 touchdowns on 26 receptions. Offensively, the Colts have developed a balanced rhythm, leaning on tight end T.J. Warren's reliability, 29 receptions, 370 yards, 2 touchdowns, in key situations. Jones has spread the ball well, allowing Indianapolis to maintain rhythm even without deep threats. Josh Downs and Ashton Dulin, both sidelined due to injuries. The Chargers' aerial attack, on the other hand, thrives on vertical routes and quick strikes. Johnston's explosive playmaking will test a Colts secondary missing Charvarius Ward, concussion, IR, and possibly Kenny Moore too, Achilles, questionable, forcing Daniel Herbert to exploit mismatches if Indianapolis's coverage breaks down. Defensively, both squads feature impact players in the front 7. The Colts' Taven Lewis has been a disruptive force with 3 sacks, anchoring a defense that bends but rarely breaks, allowing just 114 points through 6 games. For the Chargers, linebacker Tuli Tuipulotu continues his breakout campaign with 5 sacks, providing consistent pressure off the edge. The battle in the trenches could dictate momentum. If the Colts' offensive line can protect Jones, their efficient play-action game could flourish. But if Tuipulotu and Khalil Mack, questionable elbow, can generate pressure, Herbert's offense may benefit from shorter fields and turnovers. Both teams come in hot. The Colts have won 3 straight, including dominant victories over the Raiders, 40-6, and Cardinals, 31-27, while the Chargers rebounded from an early stumble with convincing wins against Washington, 27-10, and Miami, 29-27. Indianapolis' only blemish remains a narrow 27-20 loss to the Rams, proving their resilience. The Chargers' 2 losses were by a combined 5 points, reflecting their competitiveness in every outing. Injuries could be a key subplot. The Colts are missing multiple wideouts and corners, potentially thinning both their passing attack and secondary. The Chargers' offensive line depth is being tested, with Joe Alt, ankle, doubtful, and Trey Pipkins III, out, knee, sidelined, an issue that could leave Herbert vulnerable against the Colts' aggressive pass rush. Both teams' defenses may be forced to blitz creatively to mask personnel gaps, making situational football crucial. This game has major playoff implications. The Colts lead the AFC South but must hold off Jacksonville, while the Chargers, tied atop the AFC West with Denver, need a win to maintain divisional pace and secure a potential tiebreaker. This game may hinge on fourth-quarter execution. Indianapolis excels in close contests, and if Taylor controls the clock and Jones stays composed, their efficient style should prevail. Herbert's home field confidence and the Chargers' speed keep them dangerous, though. Expect a close game defined by field position, red zone efficiency, and protection. Analytics slightly favor the Chargers, 51.3%, but the Colts' balance and late-game consistency make them a threat. Prediction: Colts 27, Chargers 24, Indianapolis rebounds for a statement win. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Indianapolis Colts winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box. Atlanta Falcons versus San Francisco 49ers. The Atlanta Falcons head west to face the San Francisco 49ers in a marquee NFC showdown at Levi's Stadium on Sunday. Both teams enter the contest above .500, Atlanta at 3-2 and San Francisco at 4-2, each seeking a statement win to strengthen their divisional standings. The Falcons sit second in the NFC South behind Tampa Bay, while the 49ers are tied atop the NFC West with Seattle and the Rams. Beyond records and playoff implications, this matchup showcases 2 contrasting teams. Atlanta, emerging behind a young quarterback and a dynamic rushing attack, versus San Francisco, a proven contender balancing veteran leadership and injury concerns. Rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. continues to impress for Atlanta, throwing for 1,168 yards with 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. His 62.4% completion rate shows maturity beyond his experience, though his 53.0 QBR highlights occasional inconsistency under pressure. Across the field, veteran Mac Jones has revitalized his career in San Francisco, passing for 1,252 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 picks with a 67.3% completion rate and matching 53.0 QBR. Jones' connection with running back Christian McCaffrey, who leads the team in both rushing 336 yards, 1 touchdown, and receiving 444 yards, 3 touchdowns, has kept the 49ers offense balanced despite key absences. Offensively, Atlanta leans heavily on Bijan Robinson, who's emerging as a premier dual threat back with 484 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns on 83 carries. Robinson's versatility has drawn comparisons to McCaffrey himself, setting up an enticing battle of elite all-purpose backs. Receiver Drake London continues to be Phoenix's top target, tallying 427 yards and 2 scores on 34 catches. Meanwhile, McCaffrey's production makes him both San Francisco's leading rusher and receiver, underscoring his unmatched impact when healthy. If Jones can continue spreading the ball and avoiding turnovers, the 49ers' passing efficiency could test Atlanta's young secondary, which has been hit by injuries. Recent trends show momentum leaning toward Atlanta. The Falcons have won 3 of their last 4, including a convincing 24-14 victory over Buffalo last week and a 34-27 shootout win over Washington. Their only stumble came in a shutout loss to Carolina. The 49ers, on the other hand, are coming off a frustrating 30-19 loss to Tampa Bay after surviving an overtime thriller against the Rams. San Francisco's offense has been inconsistent in red zone execution, scoring 20 points or fewer in 3 of their last 5 contests. Defensively, the Falcons have allowed just 20 points per game over that span, while San Francisco's defense, usually dominant, has looked vulnerable, surrendering 128 points through 6 games. Injury concerns loom large for both teams. Atlanta lists Taquan Graham, Darnell Mooney, and Felipe Franks as questionable, while offensive tackle Tyrone Wheatley Jr. and cornerback Clark Phillips 3 remain on injured reserve. San Francisco faces its own challenges, with star linebacker Fred Warner sidelined until February and defensive lineman Yetur Gross-Matos out with a knee injury. Defensive tackle Kevin Givens and cornerback Renardo Green are questionable, and wideout Jacob Cowing is on IR with a hamstring injury. Warner's absence leaves a noticeable void in the middle of the 49ers' defense, especially against a back like Robinson, who thrives on cutback lanes and short passes. In terms of standings, this game carries significant weight. A win would push Atlanta closer to Tampa Bay in the NFC South and further legitimize their playoff push under Penix Jr. Conversely, San Francisco risks sliding in a tightly contested NFC West, where the Seahawks and Rams are also 4-2. With tiebreakers potentially determining playoff seeding later in the year, every divisional crossover game matters. X factors could determine the outcome. For Atlanta, Bijan Robinson's dual threat ability and the continued poise of Michael Penix Jr. are paramount. If they sustain drives and control possession, they can neutralize the 49ers' defensive front. For San Francisco, the key lies in McCaffrey's health and Mac Jones's efficiency. If Jones avoids turnovers and sustains rhythm through short yardage passing, the 49ers can offset their defensive losses. Analytics lean slightly toward Atlanta, with a 52.7% win probability, largely due to their healthier roster and recent form. Still, San Francisco's home field advantage and veteran core make this a true toss-up. Expect a physical, strategic battle where the running backs steal the spotlight and dictate the pace of the game. Prediction: Falcons 24, 49ers 21, with Bijan Robinson edging McCaffrey in a duel of modern NFL versatility. After analyzing both teams, my pick for this match is Atlanta Falcons winner. Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments box.